Real Life Military. Today we will be reviewing one of the Magnificent Seven stock, Apple. This one will be a stock review, well, one of many to come. So, in the last video, we talked about investing a little bit, and one of my suggestions were to invest in the Magnificent Seven. So, we're going to go through all of those a video at a time. Apple is one of the most well-known stocks in the world. We'll go over why that is. But for this, when you go to pick a stock, it's good to know where it came from. So we're going to start at the beginning. So Apple went public with its initial IPO, which is initial public offering, on December 12th, 1980. During that time, Apple was at its milestone with history, providing a company with additional capital and fuel for its growth. Since then, Apple's become one of the most valuable, influential companies in the world, with its products and services impacting various industries and millions of customers globally. So, yeah, if you think about Apple, it has a stranglehold on its industry because there's only two phones. You have Android and Apple dominates everything. They have so much money and they've bought into so many different companies. And so it's basically 50% of everyone in the world. Everyone has a cell phone, right? But when it started, it IPO'd at $22 a share. And when you look this up, it'll say $22 a share. But how is it at $189 now? Like, how does that happen? Like, it goes from 22 to 189. When you Google Apple stock, it'll show this right here, $189. And it looks like at around 2020 it was around 50, 60, 70 bucks, and then now it is at 189. And that's a pretty big jump. And if you look right here, it's 334% jump. It's wild, right? But it's not true, because during that time, as I'll go over later, there's been stock splits, which means that the price goes to like $1,000, and you want people to invest into your company. The only reason to do a split is for people to buy it. And most of you watching and most people in the world believe that one Apple stock is $189, and it simply isn't. So we're going to go over, and the $22, it didn't start at $22. This is back in 1980. We'll go over that too, but for the splits, at the split time, it would be $22, if that makes sense. So the first Apple split was a 2-for-1 split. So that means that if you had one Apple stock, after the split, you had two Apple stocks. That's it. So the first split was in 87, 2-for-1. The second split was at 2000, and that was a 2-for-1 again. So follow me. I know it's simple math, but we'll get through it. So 2005, another 2-for-1 split. And then 2014, there was a 7-to-1 split. And then 2020, there was a 4-for-1 split. So doing the math on that, one Apple stock right now is actually 224 stocks today. And that would equal around $42,000, if I remember correctly. Hold on. Yes, $42,336. So when you buy one stock right now, you're only getting a fraction of the original stock, which is okay. But if you're going back to the original price, I told you that it IPO'd was $22. It wasn't. It was like 80 cents. But if you Google that, like what the original IPO is, it's going to give you $22. But that does not make sense. You have to like bring it back down to how many splits there were, and it gives you around 80 cents. So like 80 cents to $4,000, that's what investing can do. Like, that is like the best, like this is one of the best companies in the world. So that's like crazy, but like you can make some serious gains. So we're going to go back to this screen right here, and we're going to do a 5-year look. So this screen right here that I'm looking at, this is not the charts you should be looking at. Like, this is trash. Like, don't. This doesn't show you anything, so don't. What you need to be looking at is this. So right here, it'll show you like 1 day, 5 day, 1 month, 3 month, all the way to 5 to max. This is the 5-year, and the indicator is a candle. And I'll go over later how to read this, but this, like, when you look, it'll show green and red, and that's like the buyers and the sellers. But going off this, it goes from $50 all the way to 180. So in 2020 is around $50. Now 180. Okay. So it has hold on. It has an EPS of 1.5, which is pretty good. Apple's EPS, earnings per share, is steadily growing and reflecting the company's ability to generate earnings. So Apple initiated its dividend program back in 2011. So that means for 30 years, it did not have a dividend. So when you go into categories of stocks, you have the IPO, you have the growth, you have the dividend. Apple is a very, very special one where it's still considered, if you Google it and look into it, it's still a growth company. Like I just showed you on this chart, it has a 300% growth in the last 5 years. That's growth. Like, you won't find a Coca-Cola or anything like that, like, that has gains like that, right? So it is a kind of growth dividend stock, which it's we went over earlier in one of the videos that it's a veteran dividend stock, which means for the last 25 years, its dividend has gone up. Right. So it is a very, very good company. Like, anything that can actually give dividends after starting off as like a zero company, it's great. So Apple's decision to reinvest back into its company with dividends reflects its strong financial position. Not a lot of companies can do this. Most companies will keep on putting into their R&D and just keep on pumping out those growth. Apple becoming a dividend stock has solidified itself as one of the strongest stocks in the world. Yes, it is often classified as a growth stock, but as I said before, with the dividends that they're still giving out and the growth, it's an overall, Apple's historical track record is strong. It's performing year after year, and its leadership and innovation into its niche is one of the best, because you either have Apple or you have Android. So when you're thinking about stocks, that right there is a definite buy. Apple is a great company, and it's going to go on forever because everybody has a cell phone. So when you think about buying something, it's like, oh, that's a cool stock. It may be doing pretty well, but you need to see if it's has a grip hold on the industry that it's in. Like, up and coming stocks, yeah, you can keep your eye on them. You can invest into them, but you're going to have a hard time finding a stock like Apple. So this is what I have for Apple's initial stock. At $189, it's affordable, and it still gives a dividend of 0.56, which is pretty good. So it's something that year after year, it's going to go up in price, and the dividend is also going to go up in price. So it's a nice growth/dividend stock that most people do have in their portfolio, and it's still going to go and rise. If you look right now, it is a buy. It is definitely a buy. And that's all I got for Apple stock. Later.